Back in 2007, it was announced that NASCAR would be expanding the field from 10 chase drivers come Richmond, well, the end of Richmond anyway, to 12. And on NASCAR 08, we will do just that. Here's the format. So it'll be the chase for the cup. 42 opponents, damage and rules will be different from when I did the Truex season on NASCAR 08. It was, if you remember that, back from my junior year. Did a bunch of races on junior prom day, and I recorded the Coke 600 like right before I went to the freaking homecoming game. So you could probably tell I was secretly humming this music as I was walking down to the center of the field while the PA guy was introducing the homecoming royalty people. And when they got to us, this was playing in my head for some ungodly reason. And I walked back into the stands. I wanted to crank the party to 11 that night. Well, most of y'all got that wish. Anyways, sequitur aside. So we're going to be racing the 2007 Chase for the Cup schedule starting at New Hampshire with 15% races. So it's going to be a bit longer than my normal 5% races I've done in the past on NASCAR Thunder 2004 and NASCAR Thunder 2003, and to a certain extent NASCAR 2005. So the driver we will be using will be the There are so many good paint schemes back in 2007. It's such a shame that EA left so many of them out when they released this game. Because I know, even though I was a huge Hendrick Motorsports kid when I played this game on PS2 with my dad back in the day, I would usually either go for him or Gordon or David Reagan in some pretty cool cars like the travel car, and this one especially because for some reason I thought of a rapper in a Cadillac. My little 6-7-year-old ass thinking of a rapper. Robbie Gordon hit some cool cars. That one I didn't really remember from the PS2 version that much. Mike Wallace I remembered. Denny Hamlin was another, probably one of the drivers I played with the most when I had this on PS2 back in the day. So we're going to probably go with Denny Hamlin in his Kinko's car. So in his more NASCAR memories, I remember I was a lot younger, and me and my dad were playing the PS2 version. We were racing at Nazareth for some reason because I was fascinated with the 5-turn layout of that track. And my dad was a big fan of the Red Bull cars. He would call AJ Allmendinger, AJ pull my finger, which made my 6-year-old mind freaking die from laughter. I picked Jeff Gordon for this race, and my dad picked Brian Vickers, and we raced quite a bit. My 6-year-old body was just crashing and just basically raising hell at a now defunct racetrack. Yeah, a lot of memories of this game. The driving model frustrated the hell out of me as a kid. So hopefully, 11 years later, things will be better. So the rule will be I will be driving Denny Hamlin's car, the Kinko's car. I don't know why I always love the blue of this thing. It reminds me of the Denver Broncos because, who the hell knows why. Let's go ahead and get this party started. So let's pick our contenders. Kurt Busch, Dale Jr., Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson. And speaking of Red Bull nostalgia, let's go ahead and put in Brian Vickers. And go ahead and put in the 5 Kyle Busch. And go ahead and put in the 16 of Greg Biffle in the AmeriQuest Ford. So, the NASCAR 08 12 chase contenders: Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Kyle Busch, and Greg Biffle. So the people in 5th and 6th. So Tony Stewart, if you remember the last time we did NASCAR 8 back in April of 2018, Tony Stewart actually was the champion when I was racing trucks, and I put together a lot of good races. Just the driving model at Phoenix and Homestead were the death of me. And I have a feeling they'll probably be the death of me here because the driving model in this game sucks. Anyways, 10 races. It all begins at Loudon for a 45-lap romp around the Magic Mile. Then it goes to Dover for a race in the Nextel Cup 400 for 60 laps. Then out to Kansas for a 40-lap race in the Midwest. 28 laps at Talladega in the UAW Ford 500. 50 laps at Charlotte for the Bank of America 500. 75 laps at Martinsville for the Subway 500. 49 laps at Atlanta for the Bass Pro Shops 500. 50 laps at Texas for the Dickies 500. 47 laps in Phoenix for the Checker Auto Parts 500. And then the championship race, 40 laps around Homestead. Let's go to Loudon. The EA Sports Fast Fact: New Hampshire International Speedway is the largest sports facility in New England in terms of seating capacity, which actually I did not know this. I honestly thought Foxborough Stadium, where the Patriots play, was bigger because there's just more seats all the way around. And obviously you got like the boxes, the press boxes and all that. Here it's just seats that start in 3 and end in between turns 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and do a lap. Qualifying might be a little interesting because I have not played this game in a while. So it might be a little bit for me to get used to this driving model again. So here at Loudon, it's basically a 1-mile version of your track and field in high school, but with banking. So as you see, you're coming off turn 4, try to sort of floor it a little bit, and then when you get to the line, be as close to the wall as you can. Coming down into turn 1, watch the line. You should be on the brakes and then let the car roll quite a bit. The car driving model on this game is fairly loose, so your car will want to shoot a little bit. Then here in 3 and 4, you can kind of downshift, kind of put about a half to 3/4 throttle in there. And then you come off of turn 4. Realize that I suck at qualifying. Then drive it deep into turn 1. Usually as the race goes on, you'll see a lot more guys on the apron, a lot more people moving lower on the racetrack. But the start of these races, typically they are usually up in the gray, kind of above the yellow line, but not too far above. As they come out of turn 4, we're probably going to qualify in the back with the nosebleeds. '27th. So we're in the belly of a whale. Jeff Burton starts on the pole. Jimmy Johnson starts 2nd. Jeff Gordon will start 3rd. Clint Boyer will start 4th. Kyle Busch will start 5th. Matt Kenseth will start 6th. Ryan Newman is going to start 7th. Tony Stewart will start 8th. Juan Montoya will start 9th. And Casey Kane will start in 10th. We will start right next to the 10 of Patrick Carpentier. Chase race number 1 is underway from New Hampshire on NASCAR 08. I'm kind of running my line through the turn so far here at Loudon as we get a little aggressive with the 2 of Kurt Busch. As lap 1 is in the books, we are behind by 2.7 seconds as Menard tries to push me to the apron. Jeff Burton, who owned this track back in 2000, if you remember, he led all 300 laps in a race here, which by definition is the equivalent of freaking Tom Brady putting up 59 points on the Tennessee Titans in the snow. And keep in mind, he scored a lot in the first half. Getting past our teammate J.J. Yaley here for 12th, trying to get by the 9 of Casey Kane on the inside. You see the 5 of Kyle Busch is taking the lead as there's a car already on pit road. You see I do have the VTV turned on from last time I did a playthrough on this game. There's right next to the 42 Juan Montoya. We're going to dive it in. Let's go on board the 11 to Hamlin. There's the... See right here. In fact, you remember back to the summer race here back in 2007. In real life, Denny Hamlin won the first race over the guy that's got the blue VTV coming out ahead of Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman. That is the 24 Jeff Gordon, who I'm closing in quite a bit. We're 1.2 seconds back from leader Matt Kenseth. Is it like there's a car already on a different pit strategy? You can tell that is. So we're trying to drive off the corner. Gordon trying to look low on Kenseth for the lead. He's got it. New leader here at New Hampshire. Hamlin's going to try to let the car roll through the corner and see what he can do by the time he gets to Jeff Gordon. There's an old adage in racing where it's called, catching him is one thing, passing him is another. We can catch Gordon all we want by driving the living piss out of our car, but if it comes late in the race and me and Jeff Gordon are battling for the win and I've worn my car out just by trying to stay close and take the lead, is we're going to do it here by putting the bumper to him on lap 7. I am a nuts for doing this. But Gordon's holding even going into 3. Whoa, my God. And here comes Johnson on the top side, 2007 champion. They try to take the lead away. Side by side through 1 and 2. Gordon starting to drift back to 4th as he gets passed by the 20 of Stewart, our teammate. A little bit of contact to the right front of Hamlin and the left rear of Johnson. And we get a little closer. It looks like it was the 15 of Paul Menard that pitted that time. And he was quite early to pit, too, because it kind of took a while for me to look at the track map on the right of my screen. And because I was wondering who is down on pit road right now. So early, too. Because normally if you're pitting on, 2 laps into a race, something is definitely wrong with your car. Ten laps into the Sylvania 10 laps into the Sylvania 300 here at New Hampshire, Denny Hamlin is pulling away from 2006 champion Jimmy Johnson as he looks to get overtaken by Ryan Newman for 2nd. as we're starting to open up the gap a little bit, going into 3. And yes, that was the 15 to Paul Menard that had to pit earlier in the race. Speaking of which, we can look at our VTV. We are close on fuel. We're at 12.4 gallons. And see our oil pressure is slowly starting to climb a little bit and fluctuate. Temperature got warmer a little bit. Other than that, things should be good. And this tells you pretty much everything you need to know about your car. And this saved my life so many freaking times doing practice runs on this game back in the day. You know, just trying to learn for the Truex season. Heck, when I did Kenseth, and unfortunately didn't come close to finishing it my sophomore year in high school, when I did the Kenseth season, the VTV function saved my life so much. Is while I was rambling on incoherently about my past experiences with this game, the 12 of Ryan Newman just took the lead. But we're going to take it right back because we are cool like that. And how about, is that Casey Kane up there in 3rd? Huh. Mark Martin is up there as well. Kenseth is in 5th. The field is starting to get strung out a little bit. You see, presumably, Tony Stewart sitting in 6th. Johnson's in 7th. Mark Martin going for the lead. See, Mark Martin starting to move a bit lower the racetrack. Now, the longer we go into these runs, the more and more you're going to start seeing people spread out and kind of in clumps. You see there's the lead group with about 6 or 7 cars up ahead. There's about me and the 3 cars behind me as we're continuing to fight around for the lead. As Kenseth getting a little aggressive. Whoa! I don't know how we saved that car. But we're getting beaten around right here. And it looks like just need to get back in here. Regroup. Wonder why everybody's damage is so weak and everybody's car is weak like paper. As Hamlin dives deep, Kenseth takes the lead back after putting the bumper to Hamlin off 4. And Stewart tries to look to the inside for the lead. He takes it. Tony Stewart is the fall 2005 winner of this race. If you don't remember back to that and his second championship run, second of the 3, his final one with Gibbs, because he would get a championship in 2011 for Joe Gibbs Racing for his own team. And Stewart, a little bit of bumper action with his teammate there for Hamlin. Can he clear Stewart? He's got it. You see fuel at 9.4 gallons in the tank. NASCAR Cup cars carry 18 ever since 2002 when they experimented with the smaller fuel cells. Right now, we're going to try to see how far we can go on a run here with fuel without having to pit. So far, we're going 19 laps here at Loudon, even after the almost heart attack on the front stretch that Kenseth gave me. We're still doing pretty good. You see the 21 of John Wood, the Heinz Ketchup Ford. Put him a lap down here. And typically, Loudon races are fairly boring. In the past, they were pretty entertaining, especially the first couple races after they repaved, because repaved races are usually wreck fests. picture, safer, the most recent repave being Texas. And I think Indy got repaved as well. I'm not sure. Like NASCAR-wise, repaved races are usually wreck fests on the Cup side. Watkins Glen, Kentucky in 2016, Pocono in 2012, and the Fall Phoenix race being repaved and reconfigured with that extra space in the dog leg, making those extra 3 lanes to pass. That's why cars cut swam low. Repave races are usually crash fests. Picture the Busch race at Phoenix in 2011. So right now, 21 laps in today here at New Hampshire, we are beginning to run away from this field in the middle of this race as we're getting past the 84 of A.J. Allmendinger for putting him a lap down. And so far, Casey Kane looks to be in second. When we come to the line, we'll check the top 10 in terms of running results. So far, our car is pretty fast. We're really kind of keeping our head on a swivel and looking around, being careful as we go under the 10 of Patrick. Sorry, can't tell if that's Scott Riggs or Carpentier. Wait, Carpentier came in 2008. This is 2007, so this would be Scott Riggs, the 10, I think. Kind of balanced. I looked at NASCAR away. I've kind of forgotten rosters. I've been playing the older NASCAR games. I had including Steve Park in the 30 for Richard Childress. 24 laps in, and this is the furthest I've gone on a race in NASCAR 08 in recent memory, because all the classic ones I've done that I've done just in the past because I like messing around or doing because I've done the polling and I can actually veg. Did this a lot in high school right away. Normally I would have had 1 or 2 cautions. But now as we're really starting to run away from the field, a little over halfway here in the Sylvania 300 in New Hampshire, 24 laps completed, 25 on the board now, as we're almost 2 seconds ahead of second place, which is currently, as I turn my lamplight on, is currently the 16 of Biffle, followed by the 12 of Ryan Newman, the 01 of Mark Martin, the 29 of Harvick, the 5 of Kyle Busch, 17 of Matt Kenseth, 48 of Jimmy Johnson, 20 of Tony Stewart, and the 83 of Brian Vickers. Casey Kane's in 11th, Jeff Gordon's in 12th, Elliott Sadler 13th, Kurt Busch 14th, Jeff Burton 15th, J.J. Yaley 16th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 17th, David Stremme 18th, Clint Boyer 19th, and Bobby Labonte in 20th. That is your top 20 as we go a little past halfway here in the Sylvania 300. Recording time currently sits at 20 minutes, which is around the average of the Rule 5% junior year NASCAR weight races I did, which included the 10 that I did in the homecoming week that in junior year a couple years ago, including the 3 the night, the day before homecoming. We'll race in the morning, race in the afternoon, and the race at night. As we're getting a little bit of a traffic snafu here with Mears in the 25, Blaney in the 22, and don't remember who was in the 45 in this game, but it was probably another scrub as we're getting past him. And we're really starting to run away with this race, so I have a feeling if the caution were to come out and really shake things up in terms of lap traffic, there's going to be a lot of cars a lap down, and it could really lead to some pretty interesting stuff. As we look at the strategy, we are at 5.4 fuel gallons. We're wearing out our right front a little bit. The left front and right rear are fine. We're just putting a lot of load on the left side of the car. The right side of the car is okay. And we're pulling in behind the 44 Dale Jarrett and the 6 of David Reagan, who is driving the money wrapper car. As a little bit of contact there. Denny Hamlin so far is putting on a clinic in the middle stages of this race up here on lap 28 here in New Hampshire. As we're coming out of turn 4 again, he is basically running away and saying see ya to the second place car and possibly the rest of the field even, as we're closing in on the 14 of Sterling Marlin for possibly putting him a lap down. As well as see some cars doing green flag stops. We'll probably pit next couple laps or so as we get close to the 14. Couple back markers so far pitting. The 96 of Tony Raines, the 07 of Boyer, 16 of Biffle, 48 of Johnson, and the 18 of JJ Yaley on pit road. So we're going to pit 2 more laps from now, see where our fuel is at, fuel, 4 tires, and take this thing to the finish. That's going to be our game plan. And, oh, by the way, I will be doing... Make sure you check back in a couple days for NASCAR 9. I'll be doing a full season on that, starting at Daytona. The driving model on the PS3 version of that game is miles better, by the way. So you can probably expect less hernia jerking in the middle of the racetrack. However, even less paint schemes. Coming down the backstretch, we're continuing to put more people a lap down as Tony Stewart gets back onto the racetrack. We are putting an absolute clinic on these guys. So this is going to be our lap to pit. As we've led the most laps in today's race. Dale Jarrett coming on to pit road, or out of pit road, I'm sorry. And the 12 of Ryan Newman getting out of pit. Oh, Jarrett's in the wall. We continue as we dive into turn number 3. Slow down to 35. Sorry, 45. Repair damage. Everything looks good. And let's go ahead and repair this bad boy. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and take a look at the running order. Denny Hamlin is leading, followed by Ryan Newman in second, Tony Stewart third, Kevin Harvick fourth, Greg Biffle fifth, Mark Martin in sixth, Kenseth seventh, Jeff Gordon in eighth, Brian Vickers ninth, and Casey Kane in 10th as Hamlin pulls into pit road. I love how in 2007, just the details like that, the way the crews are rendered, because I saw a lot of YouTube clips of this back in the day. They were sick. Just going back out onto the racetrack in 7th. So it probably wouldn't hurt for a minor caution here, as Ryan Newman is resumed the lead. Not sure if he's been down pit road yet. We're going to cycle out in about 6th. Get past Harvick, I presume, for 5th. Paul Menard's coming down pit road. 13 laps to go here in New Hampshire. 5 seconds back. I'm going to dive it in deep for 3rd. Find who's in Newman, who's in 2nd, and who's in 1st. Ryan Newman's leading, obviously. As we look ahead, looks like... Is that Jimmy Johnson? No, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson? I'm not sure. Is Kyle Busch a lap down or what? 11 laps to go here in New Hampshire today. Been the Denny Hamlin show, but under green flag pit stops, the lead has been taken to Ryan Newman as he negotiates the 09 of Mike Wallace And Stewart and Marlin going at it for space on the racetrack. Hamlin drives in deep. And he tries to look to the inside of his Joe Gibbs teammate for second. 10 to go. And we closed in big, and we're going to get 2 for the lead. New leader here at Loudon, Denny Hamlin. $10 to go. All we can do right now is hope Mike Wallace can be a really, really good pick. You see the 2 Hendrick teammates, not the day some of these guys wanted, especially guys like the 5 of Kyle Busch. A lot of hopes going into this race. As we let the car roll through on the inside. Busch is currently a lap down, I presume. Oh boy. Okay, that was stupid. Biffle, don't crash. And the caution is out, and I'm spinning for some reason. Kind of been a while here from caution. This changes everything as Biffle gets killed by Brian Vickers. Nine laps to go for the restart. A lot of cars a lap down. As the caution summary presented by Nextel, only from sprints. My car is literally crooked right now as the green flag is out with 6 to go today in Loudon. We are ahead of second place by 2 seconds. 5 to go. Strong day for the 11 to Denny Hamlin, who's driving the car like it's an old school short track race just by the way his body's deformed going into 3. It's actually helping the car turn, believe it or not. As we look at the rest of the field behind them, Ricky Rudd, the 88, lap down, and holy cow, the second place car closed. Who's in second anyway? Ricky Rudd's in second? What? Okay. You know, Ricky Rudd's been itching for a win. The last time he won a points race was back in 2002 at Sonoma. You bet if he gets to the young kid, Denny Hamlin, he's going to hit him. I can tell you this right now. And speaking of Ricky Rudd, look at this. 3 to go. The Snickers bar coming in hot. He's all over the back of the 11. And Johnson's going to try to take him 3 wide. Oh, boy. Side by side for the lead between Ricky Rudd and Denny Hamlin. Contact from Jimmy. Rudd takes the lead. 2 to go. Contact. And here's Biffle. Last caution. He was sideways getting jacked up by the 83. Rudd takes the lead. Hamlin's going to have to move him here. Or he's going to try to go to the outside of the 88. He is way down low. Oh, he's on him. Into the line. White flag. Hamlin takes the lead. Here comes Biffle. And Rudd looks like he has a problem. Kyle Busch is getting up in here. This could be fun. Young, aggressive kid from Las Vegas, Nevada. He could possibly make a run. His future Joe Gibbs teammate. Question is, it's too late now. Denny Hamlin opens up the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup with the win today at Loudon and an opportunity to conquer his fear of lobster. Now, why that's a thing, I have no freaking idea, but I love it. The Smoke Show at Loudon. The Beat Up Smoke Show, too. You finished first as you look at the unofficial results presented by Nextel. Ricky Rudd fell back to 6, and I thought he was going to upset Denny Hamlin. Start of the chase, non-chaser wins a race. And it's obviously bad parts. I really don't care about those. Now let's look at the chase for the Cup standings. After race 1, Denny Hamlin has a 20-point lead over Kyle Busch. Jimmy Johnson sits in 3rd with 25. Greg Biffle sits in 4th with 35. Matt Kenseth sits in 5th with 48. Kevin Harvick sits in 6th with 49. Tony Stewart sits in 7th with 52. Jeff Gordon sits in 8th with 60. Ryan Newman sits in 9th with 66 points back. Kurt Busch sits in 10th, 68 back. Brian Vickers sits in 11th, 80 back. Dale Jr. sits in 12th, 86 back. As we look at the rest of the points, my old ride, NASCAR weight, Martin Truex Jr. sits 18th, 5,083 back. And here's the rest of them. Next week, we're on to Dover. And the other EA Sports fast fact, New Hampshire National Speedway is currently the site of the first single-day sporting event in New England to draw over 100,000 people. The event was a cup race in July 2000, which I'm presuming was the Duraloop 300. So tune in next time for the Nextel Cup 400 from Dover, race 2 of 10. I will get the real event for this later. It'll be 60 laps around the Monster Mile.